meetings going forward until that's all done. But we at least got it started and moving forward. So.
All right, great. Need combined electric, water, and communication items. Need a first and second motion to approve a resolution establishing a regular meeting schedule. Motions?
So moved.
Second. In your packet is adjusting our schedule from the typical 2 times a month down to 1 time a month. We've really been operating this way, throughout the summers for the past few years, not needing that second one or being so minimal that it gets moved into the next. We're formalizing that one after we did look and go take a look at a number of different, and Alicia was kind of one that took this charge. We looked at all the comparable, even some larger and smaller ones, and we're definitely 2 meetings is the dramatic minority across the state. Most of the utilities are running 1 meeting a month, and that's Ames, Cedar Falls, down to Macokota and a number of the small ones. Alicia called 10 or 12, Calder looked up 10 or 12 or so, and they're successfully pulling it off, and just given our schedule normalization, staff is recommending we adjust our schedule to match that and do 1 meeting a month.
So then it'll be the second meeting of each month?
Unless it's modified for a holiday, it'll be the second Monday of the month.
Will be the canceled one.
No,
Or is it? Okay.
That's the one we come to.
That's the one we come to.
So we won't have another one for a full month from now.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Unless we had called it
Unless
for
we
something
called it,
special.
Yeah, and that's, realizing that from time to time we do run into some timing things, have to have special meetings. Those typically tend to be more consent agenda item stuff, and if we did need a timing thing in between or to get us from 1 meeting to the next, we would target a Teams meeting and just do those virtually, much like we've done, at the end of December, something to just get a formal process started.
Sounds good. Roll call.
Selgrade.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voights.
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution appointing finance director. Motions?
So moved. Second.
All right, I'll first by saying, this is kind of just a formal resolution out of our accounting policies. It names a lot of finance directors responsible for this, and one of those is the signature on the bank. This is just a formalization of that, something to kind of document, and something for Michelle to be able to provide, showing that she is now our finance director. And with that, I'll kind of turn it over to Chris and Michelle. Chris, of course, our current finance director, is retiring. How many days?
9, but who's counting?
Approximately 9 days. And we're fortunate enough to have found a great replacement. Very optimistic. Michelle comes to us with a great resume and lots of experience. So I really anticipate a smooth transition. And with that, I'll introduce Michelle Sheridan. Would you like to introduce yourself and maybe tell everyone a little bit?
Before the meeting, but my name's Michelle Sheridan. I've lived in Indianola for over 30 years, let's just put it that way. So a long-time resident. Most recently, I came from Des Moines Waterworks, so know somewhat about the water side. Going to learn about the electric and fiber side. I was their controller there for about 18 and a half years. So decided I want a little bit of a change of scenery, a little bit closer to home and everything. So today's my first day, so I'm just getting as much information as I can from Chris, and look forward to working with everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
All right. Roll call.
Selgrade.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voights.
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution setting public hearing for FY 26-27 budget motions.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Oh, second. Whatever. Jinx.
All right, we are just setting the public hearing, but I do have some updates, and I'll more fill you in about some of the information we're still waiting on thus far. Most of our O&Ms are done. Again, I'll commend staff. They once again did a great job really looking and analyzing at all those expenses. For example, I'll say the electric O&M, the total increase thus far is not, perfect, is a 2.4% year-over-year increase. And that is including a 2% anticipated wholesale rate increase. So again, I think Mike's done a good job of moving the money. We're not going to see a drop in service, but at just 0.4% over that wholesale rate increase. You guys all should have a great vote of confidence that Mike's, he's spending it like it's his own money. I commend that efficiency. He's moving money where it needs to be and taking it out of where it doesn't need to. So feel good about that going forward. The caveat with that, of course, is we're actually voting on wholesale rates at the meeting on the 22nd. So we're really, while there has been talk about 2%, and I'm hoping it stays at 2%, there's also been talk about some, because of that variability and volatility, about it being a higher number than that. Again, we'll have that finalized, and so we'll have some good exact information to share at our February 9th meeting, and we can talk about it in a little more detail. The water O&M is increasing at 1.9%, so even less thereof. We do see some softening costs, and of course, there's no denying we're seeing some increase in water main breaks, and that's where budget is preparing for those. But again, Justin's doing a good job of making sure we're spending where we need and taking it out of where it's not. Fiber is a little higher than that. It's at 4.2%, and that's really the big story there is that software and licensing and that move to those that consumer hardware is just kind of pushing some expenses, and that's increasing some depreciation year over year with that investment. And so that's all the good news. All of those, we'll have some water rate recommendations coming forward at our next meeting. Electric, I think the story there is it all depends on that vote and how that goes. But large, the big congratulatory portion is if we're able to maintain that 2.5% wholesale rate increase, that increase will be paid for by the savings in the solar. So where we would have needed to increase rates right now, if that all, I don't want to make promises quite yet before that vote, but if everything goes like I'm hoping, we'll likely recommend a no rate increase for next year on the electric side, and that's and that's all kind of on the backs of the solar project, saving almost dollar for dollar what that wholesale rate increase would cost us.
I think if we have opportunity, we talked a lot about just being able to communicate about the solar farm and how it's benefiting the community. And you see lots of messages, when are our rates going to drop? And I think lots of good information about this is not about a rate drop, it's about maintaining. So as we go forward, and if this really does play out that way, it would be really good just to keep incorporating that in some of the communication and giving that evidence of it. I think that's really a powerful thing.
Something to put in the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this, like I said, it's a 2% wholesale rate increase that probably under normal circumstances we'd have to pass right along, but we're able to say
I just think it's important for us to continue to talk through that.
Yeah, no, so that is kind of the first quantifiable benefit we've had. I know a lot of people wanted it for the environmental benefits. But coming out of the budget and just seeing those numbers almost kind of mirroring each other is kind of that first, now it's real and the savings are real and we're able to kind of hang our hat on something, tangible. So again, very excited about that, and we'll probably develop that as things get officialized and finalized. So those are all, I think, the staff's work on the expenses are all the good news. We talked a little bit about the capitals at our last meeting in December. We are spending some more money there. AMI, that's going to be a 3-year project, and that's elevating all of our capital expenditures. We're really trying to accomplish that out of reserves. We did, Doug talked a lot about those electrical reserves. We're spending some of those down, and the good news there, or I think the efficient and effective usage of those reserves is we're spending on one-time stuff, one-time investment, getting this AMI system ready to go. So we won't be kind of chipping at it year after year, and once we're done with that, we kind of have those elevated capital expenditures are going to be finite. The electric, with the forecast and the movement, we're expecting the electric still to maintain over 318 days. So out of that 110 days that we're trying to maintain, we are going to spend some down, but it'll still be over 318 days. Water is going to be the same story, whether getting hit a little bit harder. Water meters are very expensive, and the ones we need to update are costing us. The water will still be at 231 days after the capital expenditures. And as far as fiber, I will say it's at least a positive number. It will be 38 days, but just a couple of years ago, it was like 3 days. So, while it might not, certainly those numbers are
We
not.
laugh just because we know how this has gone so well, and we're.
Meg and Jim get really nervous at times when stuff just we're looking at budget stuff, but yeah. So.
Yeah, and the good news is we're expecting to end our budget year at $600,000+. 4 years ago, it was $11,000. So that kind of, for frame of reference on how good it actually is. We enjoy beating up Kurt as the only one without money, but he's done a good job, and I really do think, while 0 is not an exciting number to be at, his net assets, we're expecting those to hit $0 or positive dollars next year, and that is a tremendous victory in the original budget plan. That wasn't supposed to happen for 7 more years.
And what year are we into now?
It was 8. Yeah. So, as some of you that go back that passed that, this was, the fiber project was just a $2 million net present value project. So it wasn't really ever supposed to be a moneymaker. It was providing a service to the community and just making enough to invest back in itself. It has been markedly more successful than that business plan ever forecasted, and so not exactly, but in rough dollars, we're hitting that zero net asset value at half the time that we were expecting, and that's big, and that's Kurt's big congratulations there. I'm very excited to be a part about it, and Kurt, we couldn't have done without you. Go 0. But that is my rough budget estimate, and certainly over the next, we've talked a little bit about maybe quantifying the electric rate with solar. If you guys have any other thoughts and what you'd like to see at a presentation, certainly pass those along, or important facts or information that we want to see. Michelle will be the one that's going to be presenting this in February, so we'll, there's your bomb dropped in the middle of the meeting. But we'll make sure to get her up to speed, and want to make sure we give you guys all the details that you want. So we're expecting a similar, some similar documents to last year. We'll take a deep dive on a couple of these other ones, but the big story here is, very proud of our department heads and keeping the costs down. That the exception of fiber, but there's a little bit of a business plan change that's causing those. But for electric and water to be so substantially under CPI, congratulations, guys.
All right. Roll call?
Celebrate.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voights.
Yes.
McCraven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Combined electric, water, and communications information?
We skipped one, didn't
One
we?
more thing.
Yes, it did.
Good one, too.
There we go. All right. Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution authorizing Denman and Company audit.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Not a lot of discussion. We were at the end of the 3-year agreement that we had with Denman, so back in November, we sent out an RFP to like 9 or 10 different firms. Denman is the only one that responded with a proposal, and so they are the successful.
Is there a reason nobody else wanted to bid?
The auditors of state of Iowa, they always decline. A couple others, they actually sent a letter saying they just were not interested at the time, so they declined, but.
I thought that was just interesting that they just
Yeah.
chose not to.
Yeah,
It's not
I don't
in the
know if-
Categories.
In my mind, it is easy to see how much the predecessor auditor billed out. That's all available on the state website. And so you can go and look and see how much we were charged. And if you aren't gonna be competitive, or, you don't think you can beat that number, you probably don't try or waste your time. So they don't know what the new bid will be, of course. That's, we've followed all those compliance procedures, but if their billings would have been higher and they couldn't make what was billed last year, they're probably not gonna make it this year. And so I think a lot of them just don't try when they see they're maybe not necessarily close. Because as you recall, now it's a number of years ago, but I think the average audit estimate from Denman compared to that group and the other one, they were almost twice what Denman was charging. And so we knew back then we got a pretty good deal when we got a number of competitive bids with a new firm. And I really do think now that it's so easy to find out that information, there are just a lot of people that don't bother trying, if that makes sense.
I assume the city will continue, or have you heard?
I'm not sure where they're at in their agreement with Denman.
Oh, they may not be up
Yeah,
on
I'm not
term.
sure if they're
Okay.
out for RFP at this time or not, I don't know, but, Denman's been great to work with, we have a good working relationship with them. The presentations have been great, so.
How often do we hit our not to exceed amount?
They billed their estimate last year, I believe.
Yeah, I think the last couple of years, there
last
was
couple
one year
years.
they did some extra work when we got billed extra, that might have been 2 or 3 years ago.
So they always hit.
Their estimate.
Yep,
I think partly you guys got the process down now.
Yes.
To know how to pull the information and what we're looking
Yes.
for. I think
Well,
it's
I
more
mean, it says a
streamlined.
not to exceed
I know,
number, and I was
but
wondering
the
if we
reason
ever
why we
get below
didn't,
that.
I think we weren't really organized around it.
That's pretty typical
Well, I
for
was just
correct
curious
firms,
if
is
it
not to
was-
exceed is what you bill.
All right. Roll call?
Celebrate.
Yep.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voights.
Yes.
McCraven.
Yes.
Thank you.
There we go. Combined electric, water, and communications informational items.
All right, well, first of all, I think most everyone was at our solar commissioning. Again, that was a great success. We got a little positive press out in the news out of that one, so thank you for showing up, thank you for being a part of that. Solar is up and working. The Sandhills made their commercial operations, COD, commercial operations date. So they'll get all the tax credits that they're planning on and hoping for. It's up and running. There's still some work left to be done, but in general, we're getting some solar output and starting to save money already.
Even in all the great days we've had.
It's hard to quantify exactly. These are pretty efficient panels. That being said, they've had some problems with the rotation, so we haven't probably had a typical full power day yet. But it's good. We're finding problems before everything's under full bore.
So I would just add congratulations. I think the team did a great job, and I thought the person's name was Rocky, but his name is different from Sandhills. Raphael.
Oh,
Have
there
you called
is-
him Rocky?
No, there is a Rocky. He's
So it's
somebody
different.
else. Yeah.
Okay, well, Raphael was so complimentary of working with all of you, so I just wanted to pass that along too.
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, we reciprocate that. We know that any delays or problems, they're always communicative with us. We wouldn't hesitate to do it again. While it has been troublesome at times, I know a lot of that fell out of their scope or out of their hands, and they would have been just as optimistic to get it done sooner. But they did. That we signed that contract 3 years ago. And they held those year one dates, so even though times and expenses have come in the last 3 years, they're holding that year one price for us, so it took a little bit longer, but we're still saving as much as we ever were. They didn't, ask to, for any inflators or inflation increases or any cost of business stuff. All in all, great project. I mean, that comes down to Justin. Kurt played a role in it too, and Mike. Everyone was there when they needed to be, and it was a great, tremendous team success.
Way to go.
On the rest of I mentioned earlier, I've got a meeting on the 21st and 22nd. We'll finalize our electric rates, wholesale rates for the year. We are also, new councilperson Tiffany Davis is going on a tour of our facilities. She took over for Christina Beach on the 1st of January. On the 19th, she is going for a tour. We actually, I'm gonna bring Michelle along for that same tour. So both of them will get to experience all the goodness that IMU's facilities and the pride that everyone has in them. Firsthand. We also talked last week. We talked with health insurance. We'll have some information forthcoming over the next couple of months. We will have a joint meeting that's likely to occur in April. The story there is, we're in relatively the same position. Maybe making, to Adam's question, maybe making a little more in the way of inroads into spending down some of those reserves from that holiday. Still not problematic, and I think we talked about we didn't while some of the health insurance claims are starting to come in higher than those revenues, that first time in the last 6 years or so. There's probably some discussion to be had about when making some rate moves are appropriate. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be this year, but it's something to think about for the horizon. And that's all I have for this meeting.
Any other business? I want to put a formal invite out for Chris Longer to come to any future meetings, just to...
I'll tune in. Remote island.
I bet.
Yeah, we don't need two-way video in February. Here.
All right.
Are you packed for Florida yet?
Not yet.
All right. So we've got a closed session I'll go ahead and read that officially. So, closed session, legal, enter into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.51C to discuss strategy with legal counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent and where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the government.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.